Now, welcome to my lecture on time series and forecasting. Now, this is the preliminary lecture that how to define a time series and what are its uses and how to analyze a time series. Now, what is a time series? A time series, it is a sequence of observations taken sequentially in time. That means they are arranged in chronological order. These observations are taken on a variable of interest. Now, for example, we can consider the number of road accidents in different weeks, daily amount of rainfall at a particular place. That means rainfall is recorded daily, accident is recorded weekly. Similarly, we can also consider the number of deaths in a hospital in different days. For a factory, we can consider the quantity of goods supplied in different days. So, the time series analysis, it can be applied in so many areas, starting from the business, economics, engineering, natural science, meteorology, geophysics, and even if in social science. Now, in modeling a time series, there is a very interesting characteristic of a time series that the adjacent observations, that is the observations recorded at consecutive times and nearby times, they are dependent upon each other, and our special interest lies on this dependence relationship. So, a time series analysis is concerned with the techniques for the analysis of this dependence relationship, and it requires the application of stochastic and dynamic models for the time series data and develop models. And so, in this process, we have different observations, that means sample data, that means observations which are recorded at different time periods, and specifically these time periods are equally spaced, that is weekly, daily, hourly, or even if in seconds, in years. So that means data is available and equally spaced time. And basing upon this data, we have to think of how to build a model. Then we have to identify a model. That means this model we have to apply because there are several models available. And we fit a model to this. And after fitting, we shall check this model fits well or not. If the model do not fit well, then we again go for thinking of some alternative models that can be applied to analyze this time series data. And else if this model fits well, then we use that model for analyzing that time series. Now here this is the process of developing a model from the available data and using that model for the future. So for this, the areas of applications of time series can be classified into five basic areas or categorized into five basic categories. One, forecasting. Forecasting for the future using the past and the current values. In this process, in this forecasting process, other factors also affect this time series data. So that means we have some inputs, they are transformed into outputs. So that is why we have a input output model, and the function which converts this input to output, that is a transfer function. The second area of application is the determination of this transfer function. The third important area, that important input variables, indicator variables, particularly the input or the value at a particular time is affected by several other variables. So all these, if we consider, they are our input variables. The presence or absence of those variables is generally explained by an indicator function. So that is the indicator input variables. We have a transfer function model that transforms these inputs into the outputs. So the third area is how we shall consider these input variables, indicator input variables, to be included in a transfer function. The fourth one is to examine the interrelationship among several related time series variables. How can you understand that relationship? Better we understand this relationship, better we can be able to forecast. So the last one is design of simple control schemes. So for example, in quality control, we focus on the process control. That is a control scheme to improve the quality. So here also we have to focus on how the time series will help us to design these control schemes so that the quality of the product can be improved. So a time series, it has specific applications in industry, business, and several areas. And this is the way we have to apply. Now we shall discuss this one by one. First, let us consider the forecasting. What is forecasting? So this, we can make a summary also. All these five applications we can write down. One is the forecasting. The second one is the estimation of the transfer function. Third one, the effect of unnatural intervention of the events. Fourth one, the analysis of multivariate time series, because several values may be related upon each other. And fifth one, the discrete control system. Now forecasting. So as we have discussed, the forecasting for the future can be made basing upon the value at the current time t. So t is the time of origin, current time. And we use the previous values, that means values at times t minus 1, t minus 2, up to so on. And we use them to forecast for the future that means at time t plus L. Particularly, this is helpful in economic and business planning, production planning, to design optimization processes. So this time period, that means from the future, for the future. So from the present time t to future time t plus L. This t to t plus L is called as the lead time. So L is the lead time. So for this forecasting, we have several assumptions. The first, we assume that the observations they are available to us, they are discrete, and these observations are recorded at equal intervals of time. Time interval is equally spaced. That means if Zt is the observation corresponding to time t, Zt minus 1, Zt minus 2, Zt minus 3 are the observations corresponding to the time t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3 and so on. So then design of a forecast function. Since we are forecasting for the future, we have to design a forecast function. So we denote ZTL are the value corresponding to the time t plus L, which is made at the forecasting is made at the origin t for the time t plus L. So lead time is L. So the actual value is ZTL. Since we are forecasting, that means it is estimating this value. This value is not known for the future. So let ZTL cap is the estimated value or the forecasted value made at the origin t for the lead time t plus L. For the lead time L, that means at time t plus L. So for this forecasting, we use the previous values ZT, ZT minus 1, ZT minus 2 and so on. And this ZTL is the forecast function at the origin t. So we have to forecast in such a manner that the difference between ZT plus n and this forecast value, forecast function, this difference is minimum. That means the difference between this actual value and the forecasted value is as small as possible for each lead time L. For each lead time, this is important. So we have to minimize this difference ZT plus L and ZTL for each lead time. And once we forecast whether they are true or false, whether we have done forecasting efficiently or not. So that means we have to express here the forecasting values along with their accuracy. So what is the role of accuracy here? The accuracy, by specifying the accuracy, we can know about the amount of risk that is associated by the decisions taken on the basis of these forecasted values. So specifying the accuracy is most important. So this accuracy is specified in terms of probability limits on either side of the forecast. So for example, we can consider the probability limits as 95% probability limits or 50% probability limits. That means upper and below of these forecasted values. That can be cleared from this figure. Here we have this origin t. This is the current time. This is origin t, and this t plus L. This is L is the lead time here. We have to forecast for this time period, and t minus k, these are the previous values. These are known to us. This graph we are plotting the value zt against t, and this is the forecast function, and this is the lower 50% limit and upper 50% limit. So that means our forecasting function, it takes a value in between these two probability limits. So how we can set up a forecast function, how this probability can be calculated, we shall discuss in detail in future. Now, for this, we have to analyze the behavior of the time series, particularly at the origin t and the previous times, t minus 1, t minus 2, t minus 3, like that. So for this, we use different models. That means autoregressive model, moving average model, and then we combine both autoregressive and moving average models. These are for stationary and non-stationary models. We use ARIMA models, integrated moving, autoregressive and moving average model. So then we forecast. What are the methods of obtaining forecasted values, and what are the methods of obtaining the probability limits? And the third one, we have to how these models be developed for actual time series data. So for this development of the model, we have proceed through the model identification or the specification of the model, estimate the model parameters, then check for the model and diagnose whether the model fits well or not. And this is the way we move for the analysis of time series, and we shall discuss all these steps in detail in my future classes. Now this is just the brief what is a time series and how this time series is applied to real life processes. Now thank you all for watching this video. Thank you. So